Can you hear me?
Yep.
I think I need another earphone because I'm hearing this tapping noise in my ear. Are you hearing that?
No.
Okay. We're not recording on. Oh,
We
shit.
definitely are.
Hey, girl. Hey.
Hey, boo.
How are you?
I'm good.
How was your weekend and stuff?
So something happened last Thursday,
Uh-uh.
but I don't know if I should tell you at the beginning of the podcast or at the end.
Oh, maybe we should wait.
I don't know.
Uh-uh.
But my weekend was cool. We saw Captain Marvel. The
Yep.
end.
The end. Yeah, I didn't do too much. I hung out with my bestie for a little bit. And then on Saturday, I had two of my girls come over and they brought their kids, and we had like a little mommy turn up that really got turned up. So yeah, trying to watch the daggone Gail and R. Kelly interview, and yeah, I
Child.
can't even report back to you everything that happened because we
Oh,
was
so
that
y'all was
lit.
turned.
Yes, like I swear, I remember just pausing stuff and laughing and like laughing at stuff that was going on in the interview. So yeah, I can't really recall a lot that was going on in that interview. But that's about it. I didn't really do too much for you.
Hmm.
I guess that's good. I guess it's good not to always have a super busy weekend.
Yeah, I actually enjoyed it. I don't think we did much of anything. Yeah, on Saturday I didn't do anything. Captain Marvel we saw before then, and then Sunday we just ran some errands. That was it.
Those be the lit weekends that you literally have nothing to do.
Yeah, my daughter, she was bored, but I wasn't. I was at peace.
Mama's happy, everybody happy, honey. On episode 29.
Hmm.
And this week, we are going to talk about college. Basically, is college a waste of time? Is it worth it? All of that good stuff. So, I know people have different views on that. And, excuse me, we can kind of jump in there because I know you're currently in school.
Yeah. So I was in school and I got pregnant. So I dropped out and I've been in and out ever since. But this time I have to finish because a bitch don't got that much more financial aid that she can fucking borrow and bullshit with. So they're like, you're nearing the end of the cap on the funds, ma'am. So you need to get your degree or you're going to be paying out of pocket,
You
like
like,
right now.
oh, no.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I went to college and did some grad school until I was like, what the fuck? I was up here with a full-time job and a new baby up here doing grad school, and I was literally about to pull my hair out. So yeah, some other stuff as well, and it just I had to chuck up the deuces and didn't look back. But I just wanted to, I don't know. I think this is a good topic because, like, I have a lot of friends that went to college, and I know some people that didn't go to college, and it's like strong stances on both ends on, if college is a good thing or if it's a waste. So I just feel like it would be a good topic to kind of jump into.
So, what do you think?
Um, I feel like I'm on the fence, and it depends on the day. If it's a day where I receive an email and they say that your student loan payment is due, then I'm like, fuck college. But then I'm also on the fence because I just know like there's a lot of good as well. So like I feel like I'm torn in the middle. Like yeah. Like I found this little Listy.
Oh, she's back.
Listy's making an appearance, honey. But before I get to the list, I've seen different articles. Like, so when I was trying to look and see, like, doing my research, honey, I was trying to put these college skills to work. And pulling my research together, there were some articles where, like in Forbes, where they were saying, like, it's definitely worth it, and it's no evidence that getting a degree is anything but worth it. But then, like, there was a Washington Post article that was just like interviewing a professor from George Mason, and the college professor even was like, nah, it's not worth it. So, like, it's literally conflicting articles and opinions on it, but I did find a list of different pros and cons. And it's crazy, when I was going through the list, like, I feel like I agree with almost everything on the pro and the con side, which only confirmed me being on the fence.
Right.
So,
what are the pros?
Okay, so the pros. Let's go down that list. So, pros. College graduates usually make more money over their lifetime than non-graduates. I, on that one, say it depends because I know some people who ain't stepped foot in a college and they are killing it. So that's not always the case. But yeah. After that, it says more jobs are starting to require college degrees now, which I'm definitely seeing that. Yeah, that they're requiring at least a bachelor's and some even masters for a lot of these jobs out here. Young adults develop mature interpersonal skills in college, which I feel like I agree. Also, there was a 2018 University of Southern California study that found that adults over the age of 65 with college degrees actually spend more years with good cognition and fewer years of suffering from dementia than adults who did not complete high school. So I don't know if that has to do with, using your brain more. I don't know. No clue. But that's what the folks at University of Southern Cal said. Also, the children of college graduates are healthier and more prepared for school, according to a medical journal study. Also, college allows students to explore different career options because, they have job fairs, internships, and then if you feel like staying for a long time, you can always keep switching your major and figure out what you want to do.
My issue.
Figuring out your major.
When I started off, it was psychology. Mm-hmm. Then I switched it to communications, and I had a lot of fun because it was like like I had a radio class, I had this television class, so like we had like a mock radio station, and then for my TV class, we had like a mock TV show. Then I had a film class. I really liked communications, but for whatever reason, I switched it again. Then I switched it again. Like this, I switched it 3 times while I was physically going to like a brick and mortar college.
Oh, wow.
And then since I've been online, I've switched twice. So it's just like, at this point, I'm just like, which one do I have the most credits for? I'll go down that path so
I can just finish this. Right.
This is bullshit. Just use some other classes as elective so I can get the fuck on.
Exactly. At this point, you're like, I don't give a damn what my major is. I just need this damn degree.
Yeah. I completed 4 years of college already, but because I keep fucking switching shit up.
Oh, your credits towards that major.
Yeah. That's the bullshit.
Let's see what else. So college provides networking value. There was a study from Harvard Business School that estimates that 65 to 85% of jobs are acquired by actually networking. And, in college, you can join fraternities, sororities, clubs, teams, and go to other social functions to meet people and network with possible business connections. Also, college exposes students to diverse people and ideas, which I feel like is the number one reason why a lot of these people need to go to college, because they never get out the damn hood or their neighborhood, and they don't get to be around people that ain't like-minded or look like them. So that. And then also, let's see, the last pro they have on here is earning a college degree is a major life achievement, which me personally, it sounds dramatic as hell if you just read it, but it really was like one of the best days of my life.
It's a life achievement.
It really is, though.
It really is. I don't think people even put as much. I feel like I see people praise people more for having babies than I do for them to receive their
That's
degrees,
crazy.
especially if they didn't receive it the traditional way.
Right,
So
exactly.
yeah.
It's definitely a big deal, and it's something that you can say that you actually earned
Hell
yourself
yeah. College is fucking hard.
for sure.
So to stick that shit out,
And
my
finish
nigga.
like nigga, that's a reason to party. And I know for me personally, like I was the first one in my immediate family to graduate from college. Like my dad and my brother attended college, but they didn't graduate, so I was the first one to graduate. They was super proud. I was happy that the shit was over, and it was just an exciting time in my life.
Girl, I would have been the first one in my immediate family to finish had I fucking stayed. But because my parents met at Penn State,
Hmm.
so they ended up both going back, and now both of them motherfuckers got masters. And I'm just sitting here like, boom, boom, boom. I think my sister got a degree too. So really, it's just me looking stupid.
Like what's going on with you,
A
Shay?
family full of achievers, and I used to be that bitch when it came to education, and now I'm just like, I mean, I'm just out here adulting. I'm making it.
But you're doing a damn thing, so
That part.
so on the con side, they had my number one thing. Student loan debt is the devil. They didn't say that, but I said it's the devil.
It is.
They said 45% of people with student loan debt said that college wasn't worth it. Bing, bing, bing. That's his dice. Okay. They just probably should have just came to me and I would have quoted this whole thing. They also said that student loan debt often forces new graduates to live with their parents, delaying marriage, financial independence, and other adult milestones. Ding, 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 ding. That was like literally right after college. I had to move right on in with my parents. I was like, oh, okay, scoot on over. Your graduate is back home, honey. Because look, these debts are calling, and I got to find a job. Let's see what else. Cons. Many college graduates are employed in jobs that do not require college degrees. Ding, ding, ding,
I mean,
ding. This is like the whole list for us. Let's see what else. Many people succeed without college degrees. We kind of touched on that before. 19% of students that enroll in college don't even come back the second year, which in college I've seen a lot of that. They was there for the
yeah,
freshman year and then you never see them again.
I saw that too.
Also, college degrees do not guarantee learning or job preparation. Definitely
Big
does not.
facts,
Right.
especially online school. Let me tell you.
Look, let me tell you something. Because look, if you can slide through some papers and participate in some discussions,
That's
you
it.
are in that thing.
I'm trying to tell you.
Look, because that was my whole master's life. I was like, let me go ahead and log on and respond to some people's posts and put up my own post.
Interesting. I agree.
I used to get on my damn nerves. What else? Student loan debt is not forgiven by bankruptcy. They actually had this article where this guy tried to fight his student loan not being included in his bankruptcy because he went blind after college, like literally like blind. He couldn't see, which impaired him from being able to work. So he was trying to fight basically to have his student loans wiped off. And they was just like, "No, you straight." But they wiped off all the medical debt, but student loans was like, "Nah, your brain's still working right there." Oh, okay. They ain't say that, but
That's what they
that's what
meant.
I gathered from that. I was like, dang, this man blind, can't work, and he can't pay you back. So like, you just gonna mess up his credit anyway, huh? Oh, okay.
They don't give a fuck.
Not one effing fuck. But also for the woke people, colleges, they're saying that they may be indoctrinating students as opposed to educating them. A lot of professors are out here abusing their power and actively discouraging their students from raising problems or objectives. So instead of being in an environment where you're supposed to be learning and being open and being able to, explore and discuss and learn new things, a lot of these professors is acting like
That could be true for all education, though.
It definitely
Like
could be.
from elementary on up.
For sure. Like, I agree with that because it's all about behavior and
Mm-hmm.
staying in line and making sure you're conforming to the norms and all that stuff. So
Yep.
definitely. And the last one on the list, it says college stress can lead to health problems, including weight gain, fatigue, insomnia, headaches, increased blood pressure, depression, anxiety, and low self-esteem, according to a University of Florida 2012 survey. So,
That sound like life.
look, currently, ding, ding, ding.
I mean,
So, like, I'm literally like, I feel like I'm on the fence because I feel like this student loan debt, I'm gonna be on my deathbed like, so the paperwork.
so it
So,
sounds like student debt is your biggest gripe. So if student debt was not an issue, how would you feel about college?
I would feel like it's a very good opportunity, and I think it's something that you should do depending on because as an adult now I can say that it depends on what road you want to go down, what career path. Like, I feel like you don't need to go to college for every career path. So I know it's hard to decide that when you're in high school because most of us who had an idea of what we wanted to do for the rest of our life in high school,
Right.
it changed in college or in life, or we just changed our minds because I mean, like, we're whole ass teenagers. Like, that's a big ass decision to make as a teenager. Like, what do you want to do for the rest of your life? What do you want to major in? What path you want to go down? Like, that's a lot. But I feel like it would be beneficial if I wasn't paying tens of thousands of dollars back.
Right.
um I know for my kids I am going to encourage it, um unless there's something else that they want to do with a structured plan. Like, I know when I was growing up, my dad was just like, look, you got two options: college or
College or
military.
military.
He was like,
Ain't that everybody?
look, he said that is it. And I was trying to be a smart ass and do both. I was like, well, honey, look, how about I go to college and then go to the military? Whoop, doop, boop. But life happened. But
Right.
yeah,
What if they don't want to do either one?
then I would need a plan on, I would need them to explain a plan on, what they have. Like, what do you want to do? Do you want to go to a trade school? Like, is there something else, like another job field that you want to go down? Because what's not going to happen is you're going to graduate from high school and then just wing it and figure it out. Like, nah, we need like some plans. So if you can give me something that you're interested in, whether you want to be, I don't know, a welder or hairdresser or whatever it is, and you don't have to go to college. Shoot, you can even be into like IT and stuff like that and don't have to go to college for that. For real, for real, you can go to some, like, some tech schools and get some certs and you be in there like swimwear. So I would just need some type of plan for me personally. What about you?
So my daughter told her stepsisters that she has to go to college. She has no choice, which I found to be interesting because I've never said those words,
Mm-hmm.
but now that she has that energy, I'm like, you right, you do.
Right.
Fuck out of here.
Uh-huh.
But I think I'm probably more on the fence than you. Like if I had to break it down, I'm probably like 70-30 with it
Was 70
because
not going?
yeah, because it's just a lot of people have degrees and shit that they don't even fucking do. Like you can
Mm-hmm.
have a degree in something and it has nothing to do with your job, but because you have a degree, you check off on that requirement.
Right.
But it's like, what does that have to do with how does this help you? I see it helping as far as like that, like you said, the interpersonal communications type of thing, and
Mm-hmm.
you expect to have like a well-rounded individual because they've gone to college and they've been around different
Different
sets of
people.
people.
Mm-hmm.
They are persistent enough to continue to go and get it. The qualities I think are what comes with the degree versus what the degree is for. Like,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yep. I totally
your
get it.
fucking degree is not in the field that you're in,
At
like,
all.
at
I
all.
got a whole
And
ass psychology degree.
we are in the same field, and I don't even have a degree yet.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, even though I do deal with crazy people every day.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just like, it. I love the fact that she has that mindset. I think that if she does go, I'm going to push for her to continue it and not fuck around and get pregnant like me. But I definitely see the qualities in it as far as like networking. You build a network of people that you'll always be connected, or for the most part always be connected to, and all that good stuff. But people, there was a tweet about how like it broke down mathematically, like you make more when you said lifetime life, you make more, but that shit doesn't equal out to much when you're getting your weekly check, your monthly checks, or however you get paid. So somebody
And
was
subtracting your student loan payments if you didn't have a scholarship.
exactly. So he broke down the math, this dude, and he was like, yo, you're in the negatives with a degree. Like you get a little fucking raise, but that's it. You get a little fucking raise and you still got all that shit to pay back. And then them loans are like 20 fucking years.
For
So for 20
life.
years of your life, if you're paying on time, if you didn't defer it as many times as you could,
Me. Ding, 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 ding.
you know what I'm saying? A good chunk of your fucking adult life, you can't even enjoy the money that you're making, because I don't know most people whose fucking student loan payments are under 250, and 250 is being really generous.
Look, my joint is more than my car note, my G.
I'm saying.
Because I had to throw in them years I just had to see if I wanted to get a master's. So like, let's pile on more debt. Come on now. Like,
so I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure that if you're covering the lifetime of someone who has a degree versus someone that doesn't, they do make more on paper. But we got to take into account how much fucking student loans are. Because what people don't realize, what I didn't realize, I would be honest, is that I could defer them shits as much as I want. That interest, baby,
it's still calculating.
that shit is still ticking away every motherfucking day.
Trust me, I know.
So, you may go in there thinking your bill is going to be $12,000. Bitch, if you wait till you 31 and start paying on some shit, good luck with that $12,000. So,
right.
I think that college is beneficial.
If you get a scholarship.
If your parents have actually saved money for you, because y'all parents love to say that we saving money for you, but then when it's time to cough up some money, they don't got shit.
Exactly.
I think it's beneficial in those ways, but I know I just know people who have taken different paths. I'm not saying that those paths were easier or harder. I don't know. I just know people who have been able to become really successful without college.
And sometimes even quicker.
Yeah. And like you were saying, like, I don't like the fact that at school they don't promote these different careers like that don't require college. Like that special on Netflix with Killer Mike, he brought up a really good point, like, and you even mentioned it, like welders and plumbers and HVAC technicians and stuff like that. Like, if they're not glamorous jobs, no, but they can be lucrative depending on how you flip it, how you navigate it. But those types of jobs are never encouraged in school,
because it's going to be college is also a business, so enrollment brings them more money and all this other stuff. So of course they're not going to encourage things that make students leave. Like, they're like, nah, you sit here in these classrooms, whether you like it or not, spend these thousands of dollars and then hundreds more on books. So like, come on down. Which is crazy to me that college books cost so much, but that's a whole nother topic, honey.
Yeah. My daughter, she likes to draw. My husband, he draws really well. So I'm always trying to find the things that she's interested in and then give her ideas. And like, artists are broke. I mean, like,
yeah, that's what the phrase starving artists.
Right. But
they have their big break though.
Right. And but I was like, Mar, if you keep up with drawing and you get really good, you never know. Like, maybe you could become a tattoo artist and then you could own your own business. Like,
or even graphic design and all type of stuff.
I just try to take her interest and just let her know all the possibilities that could come with it. I just wish, like, if I could, honestly, if I was like rich and white, I would let my daughter have a break year. and I would
Yeah.
let her like go and see some shit first.
Like on Blackish.
I really would, because I even when you go to college, it's like, yes, college does have, you have all these different options that you could take for, all these different things you could major in, but it's a lot of pressure to decide that, you know what I'm
Quickly.
saying, so quickly. You don't even fucking know what I wanted to do when I was 18 is not what the fuck I want to do today.
Dog, and you're not even deciding it at the end of college. You have to
Right.
start applying for colleges
In high school,
like early.
11th grade.
Yeah, I was gonna say like end of your 11th grade year, early your 12th grade year. Like
Yeah.
you applying for colleges and scholarships like that early. So you're talking about 16, 17-year-olds making these life decisions. And if you're, you don't have a strong family background, and your parents aren't assisting you with this, you're literally doing this on your own. Like, oh, that sounds like fun. Let me major in that. Like, yeah, that's tough.
My beef with life is not even just college, it's that like it's a fucking setup, because all
Mm-hmm.
throughout school they make it seem like you can be whatever you want to be, and they get you all hype and you start thinking about all these fucking things. But honestly, like you said, it's like 11th grade, you got to kind of make a decision, and then a lot of people get stuck in whatever that decision is that they made. Like, I'm having an issue right now because I don't want to fucking do this shit anymore. The field
Right.
we're in, I don't fucking want to do. And
Right.
I mean, I never grew up and said, I
That's
want to
what I
do
want to
this.
do. But
It
what
just
sucks is
happened.
because you have so many years experience now in
Right.
that. So if you were to do something totally different, it's like, well, you don't have experience in that. Like,
And that is why I said that it's a fucking setup, because all of our lives we are taught that we can do whatever we want and we have the option to change our minds and this, that, and the third. But then life happens and it's like, nah, bruh, because you can go out there and you can get that degree, but then the job that you want in that fucking field is gonna be like, nah, bitch, you gotta have 10 years of experience. How the
like
fuck am I
how?
gonna have experience when I was getting my degree?
I was
But
in school
then,
for 10 years. How did
right. But then for me, like, I've been in this fucking field, this year will be 11 years. And jobs will look at me like, but you don't have a degree. Bitch, but I have 11 years in the same fucking field. Like, what are you
Exactly.
talking about?
Exactly.
So I'm literally only getting this shit because it's like, now I got certs. Now I'm about to have a degree and I'm going to have
The
11
years
years.
experience.
So what now?
Now. Now what's your gripe? Give me my
Right.
money. Pay me.
You know what I mean? But then when I think about it, it's like, they're not going to give me that much more money than what I make now anyway.
Right.
Uh, I just I just wish that we had the freedom to explore different things without having. It's like you can change your mind in college, but that shit is going to cost a
Mm-hmm.
whole fucking lot, because you're going to
Money
extend
and
your,
time.
yeah, you're extending your time in college, which means that shit is adding up. And the time people talk about how people be old as fucking college.
Me. And I don't give a fuck. Fight me.
But yeah, I just, if Mara, I want Amara to go to college. I say all this, but I still kind of want her to go, unless
Yeah.
she has just like, this is what I want to do, this is how I want to do it. But then and then at the same time, it's like, can I really expect her to know all that at 17? Because she'll be
Yeah.
17 when she graduates.
I think that's why I'm not gonna be like super pressed, but I feel like I'm gonna be more hands on. Like my parents weren't really hands on, and maybe because they were older parents, and it seemed like I had my shit together at a young age, and they were like, "Oh, she got good grades, she got a good head on her shoulder, she seems like she knows what she wants to do." So we don't have to be as hands on. We didn't already raise two. This third one seems like it's on autopilot, and that's just how they was treating me. So I didn't get a lot of hands on explain to me why you picked that major, or like, what do you plan on doing with that after you get out of college, and and that sort of thing. They didn't really, you know go into detail with that, or even kind of have any other options besides, I mean, if you don't want to do that, you can always go to the military. I'm like, oh. But I think for my kids, I'm going to like start the talks kind of early, like how you are with Mara. And I mean, now it's too early because she's like, I want to be a unicorn. Like, oh, that's great. I don't think that's school for that, but all right.
Oh
But
my God, that made me think of some high shit.
I did kind of say it in a little voice. But like, you know, like just early on, kind of like had them talks with her, and when my son gets of age, and just kind of say, hey, well, I noticed you're good in this and you excel in, you know, this. Why don't you try this? Or like, would you be interested in that? And just because I know there were jobs that I didn't even know existed until I became an adult. And I was like, well, damn, I
My
wish I knew this
leg.
because I could have got a degree in this. Like, I, I could have been a whole ass forensic detective watching damn
My
ID
leg.
and been having fun and getting paid.
But I think that has to do with also what schools we went to before college.
Tis true.
Because if they weren't promoting those things, if they weren't telling you about, because I can say I feel like school kind of promoted like the boring desk jobs.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember them talking about
They was some old
forensic
government
detectives.
jobs.
Yeah, I just, now that I'm thinking about it, I can't think of anybody in Friendly being like, yeah, you could be a forensic investigator. Like, what?
Never.
No,
I
there's
never.
like, you could work at corrections, you could go be
Yes.
a
They was
secretary.
always talking about corrections. I was
Like who
like,
the fuck wants to
yeah,
do that?
I'm straight on that. You could be a teacher. No, I'm straight.
Just, yeah. Now that I'm thinking about it, I never knew.
I
Yeah.
never knew.
If me and my sister, so my sister, she's in the military,
Hmm.
and it's so crazy. So my sister's in the military, my father, my father's wife, my husband, they're all military. I fucking hate the military though. I think it's like another form of slavery, but that's another conversation for another day. And my sister and I were having a conversation about college versus the military, and you know, she basically wants her son to join the military because she's like, you join, you'll have a job. If you want to go to college, you can go for free.
Mhm.
You learn a skill all at the same time.
That's how they sold it to me.
And so at at first I was just like, but what if he wants to go to college? Like, why would you discourage him from going to college? Like, that's kind of where I was at with it. But then I started to think about it like after we finished talking, and I could see somebody getting sold by that because
Hmm.
there's no there's nothing saying that you have to stay in the military. A lot of people do because they're just like, oh, 20 years, that's not nothing. I could retire, the end. And now that I'm working, like I went from being a contractor to being in the government.
Hmm.
Girl, you can't retire. It's not like, oh, you can retire in 20 years. No, you have to be a certain age to, I
Hmm.
mean, you can retire, but you can't get your money to that certain age.
Mm.
So that's making the military look real sexy because
Right.
my husband is going to be retired at 42.
Yeah, that's lit. I got a one of my friends from college. She went into the military right after college, and sometimes that transition is hard. So how you were saying, like you can just get right out, like she had did her time and you know did her little debt for them paying her college,
Mm-hmm.
and you know got out, was like, oh, okay. And so she was my mind is going blank. Anyway, she had a civilian job that basically aligned up with what she did in the military, and she hated it. Like going
Yeah.
from an officer in the military and then going into corporate America, she wanted to pull her fucking hair out because in corporate America we do stuff on our time, we do it when we want to, and sometimes like not good quality. And being in the military, you used to like, all right, when I
I feel
say a
that way about
project.
military folks, but okay.
she like you know a project needs to get done. I tell them I need it done X, Y, and Z, and it gets done. It's no like, all right, like 3 days later and you still ain't got started. And she like just couldn't deal with the transition and end up getting back in the military. And I was like, ma'am,
Yeah.
why would you do that? But sometimes like it's just that transition in itself is like I can't deal, especially if that's all you know going into the workforce. Like literally that was her first, if you want to call it, job out of
Yeah.
college, and she just couldn't deal.
I feel you, but my sister, on the other hand, though, and that she hasn't gotten out yet, so I don't know. This it may be different a year from now, but she's actually getting out soon.
Hmm.
And I wanted, like I said, I think pretty sure she has her degree. I could be wrong, but I know for sure she went to her her job in the military is in IT. And when
Hmm.
she told me that from the beginning, I was like, oh, that's a bet because no matter what, if whether you get out or not, you have a job.
Right. Making bread.
So I think that it is, if you're going the military route to avoid having to pay for college and you don't intend, to stay in the military, then you just gotta have a game plan, and you
Yeah.
gotta make sure that you know what you're getting yourself into on both ends, getting in
Mm-hmm.
and getting out, because your expectations probably will not be met.
You're gonna be somewhere you don't want to be. And then the thing with the military is like, which I didn't find out until I'm in the thick of it, because I when I was in high school, I was in JROTC. So, and I was, pretty good and pretty high up in it, and I applied for uh a scholarship. Got the scholarship. So literally my college was paid for. Like literally a fucking free ride. All I would have to do is go into the military and give them their time back to pay for it. And, going as an officer would do, the whole thing, the whole
Mm-hmm.
spiel they sell you. So it's lit. But they don't really tell you, okay, so you go in and you're like, all right, what is first of all, when you go under a military scholarship, it's only certain majors that you can pick, because it has to translate into something that will be a military job.
Right.
So I can't be like, hey, I want to be I don't know, something random, a veterinarian. I don't know, something random.
Archaeologist.
Right. And they're going to be like, yeah, I want to be, something crazy. They're like, no. So, because I be trying to get over. I was like, oh, okay, I can do this, blah, blah. Like, I know being in the field ain't meant for me. So, like, that'll be good. Medical service, not on the front line with the medics, but kind of like, okay, this will be it. But also, at the end of it, and I don't know if every branch is like this, but what I was in, towards the end, once you're in college and you're going towards about to graduate and being commissioned, you basically put down a list. It's like, I'm breaking it down really simple. It's not this black and white, but basically it's a list, and you get maybe like a couple of choices on, okay, these are the available places you want to be stationed. List your top. And then
Oh yeah, girl.
on this list your MOS is like what you want to do on this side. And depending on your qualifications and the military's needs, that's where you're going to get placed on what you're doing and where you're going to be.
No,
So
it's mostly military needs. I'm just letting you know, because recruiters got quotas.
but
That's
dog,
a
it
job.
blew my fucking mind that you could go to college for all these years and thinking that, okay, when I go in the military, this is what I'm going to do. And that's not even fucking guaranteed. Like, literally, they could have been like, well, bitch, we about to have you in the soup kitchen cooking. Like, I mean, not really, but like, it could be something. Luckily, when I was going, I was going to get my first choice, which would have been lit. But honey, they had me going to Korea, and I was about to shit my fucking pants. Because I'm petty. I picked everything on the damn East Coast and then put like 2 places overseas or something. But they was like, oh, that's cute. You're not going to get your first choice in what you want to do and where you want to be.
Korea actually would have been a great experience.
Yeah, I don't know. Never been, but.
I'm so upset at the fact that, like, if my husband put Japan down, we would legit be in Japan. And, I was scared at first, but then that motherfucking Donald Trump became y'all raggedy ass fucking president.
Now your ass wish you wasn't in this country.
Because I could be in Japan just avoiding all this dumb shit. I fucking hate him. I'm sorry. My bad, y'all.
That was a sharp right turn.
I just hate him so much. He's so ugly. Ugh.
Yeah.
His face.
What if he was to forgive all student loan across the board? Would it change how you feel?
Thank you, but still fuck you. I mean, you could appreciate something that somebody does for you and still be like, fuck you.
Right.
I see that shit all the time.
Appreciate it. All right. Get your raggedy ass out of my face now.
He should do that though, because maybe then people would fuck with him.
His little ratings will go up.
Yeah, and Russia won't have to go and steal the election again. Raggedy bitch.
Look, so college.
Right.
Bottom line, it depends on what the fuck you want to do.
That's what I think. There are jobs that are very specific and you're going to have to go to college.
Other ones, not so much.
But I feel like if you're not going to be like an entrepreneur on some trade type shit,
Mm-hmm.
that you probably just going to have to bite the bullet and do it if you want to really make some money, because there's every fucking thing requires a fucking degree. The shit that we do requires, if you look
If you want to get
online,
higher up.
that shit says a master's degree. For what? For
Wow.
what we do?
Wow.
Not to like shit on what we do. It's
But it's
just that
like, what would I have learned in those schools that helped me towards what I'm
that I
doing
haven't
now?
already learned
On the
from just
job.
doing.
Right, exactly.
When I saw that shit, I was like, y'all are probably never going, unless y'all pay for it, y'all never getting a master's out of me. Y'all better take these certs.
Let me tell you something. Masters, uh, I'm sorry, that was traumatic. That whole
Shout out to
master's
y'all.
thing. I
That
can't.
shit looks like a lot.
It's trash. It's trash. And then you add on to the fact that you're already working a full-time job and then you add in kids. Fuck it. Fuck that.
There are some graduate level courses that are free that I'm text it to you
Okay.
offline.
Okay, for sure.
So yeah, yeah. Okay.
Cool.
But speaking of, so are we done with
Yeah.
that part?
Yeah.
Okay, but so still on college, Aunt Becky.
Mm-mm-mm-mm.
Aunt Becky,
Got the whole full house
from
popping.
Full House, her and her white Nubian queens, as Charlemagne the God calls them. I would never call them that. Don't take me
Not,
seriously, y'all.
not never. Not never.
But they are being charged. The FBI is
Mm.
investigating their asses because they've been paying off colleges to get their kids in these good Ivy League schools. And I was looking at this one thread on this like 98% white Facebook page, and they are really surprised. And I was just like, who didn't know that this was happening?
I was gonna say they were surprised that stuff like this happens. Like I,
Yes.
I'm broken though. That should be happening. Like you think these dumbass kids be earning to get in these damn schools? I'd be dumb as fuck.
I mean, they legacies
Mm-hmm.
and all that good stuff. Like, none of this shit is
It's not new, but I've been knew that they were discussing like, oh, we made a donation to this,
right.
and oh, we're alums, so we donated, aka bribing. Like we hip, we been hip.
My only comment on the matter, because I was so like, okay, what's new?
Right.
My only thing to it was, I see comments online when people talk about, they don't have any white scholarships. They have black scholarships though. And it's not fair because they don't have anything for me because I'm a white man, blah, 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 blah. And I just want to just point out that this here, my G, is an example of a thing called white privilege.
For
Insert
sure.
rainbows and glitter. Like, this is exactly what the fuck it is. And this is why, like, what the fuck do y'all need a white scholarship for if mommy and daddy is just gonna pay Yale to get you in anyway? You could
Right.
be dumb as a fucking brick, but because the money is green, you in that bitch. Shut the
Exactly.
fuck up
I
and
was
stop
reading
complaining.
an article about it, and they had daggone people that ain't play sports getting scholarships in that sport because they folks had money. Like, I mean, like all type of stuff. Like, they said that one kid wanted to go to University of Southern California and falsely um took on having a learning disability so that they can take their standardized test with a special proctor, and so that they can get basically the right score that they needed to get into this school. And the parents paid like 50 G's to be like, all right, to the proctor, basically like, all right, set this up so that we can make sure that my kid gets this test. Like all like But the thing is, like, I think no black people are shocked. Like, we knew this was going
We
on.
knew it. And the thing is, if you got the money, do you? Because if I had the money,
Look,
I
let me say
might do it
something.
too.
For sure.
But what I don't like is, like, there are definitely scholarships and grants that are out there for your race. If
All
you are a
scholarships ain't
minority,
for minorities. Like, they have
well,
others.
but none of these scholarships are just like, well, none of the ones that I've seen anywhere are just like, here's money. You still got to do something
Yep.
for the fucking scholarship.
You
Like, you
gotta do
You
some
still
type
gotta,
of essay. You gotta
yes.
qualify. You gotta have certain grades or test scores. Like
That's the first thing. You gotta motherfucking qualify. You gotta have a
exactly.
certain GPA. You gotta
Hmm.
have certain scores. Then you gotta write a motherfucking essay to prove why
Like
you should get the scholarship.
and you
It's
gotta write them like you a New York Times bestseller.
yes.
Cause look,
So even in getting these scholarships, them shits are not handed to anybody. So for people to really be sitting here crying because I mean they don't have any white scholarships. Shut up. God. Y'all
always
just
on
be
that Me Too.
complaining.
Always on that Me Too.
Ugh. Bye, Becky. Uncle Jesse would never have this. That's what happens because they was living up in that fucking attic for too goddamn long. That's what the goddamn problem
Shelter
is.
from the world.
Mm-hmm. Stupid self. Ain't nothing
So
gonna happen to them women either. So
mm-mm.
that's why I really didn't fucking understand why this is a thing because they're gonna be investigated. They're probably just gonna pay another fucking fine and
They
get
got
out of this
enough
shit.
money that they gonna get some really good lawyers and they gonna settle or something like that.
She'll be on the next season of Fuller House so she can get another check and it'll be gone. So, anyhow.
mm, I guess that's all I had.
Me too.
Let's see.
Tea time.
Tea Tizzle.
I don't have no tea time because y'all celebrities weren't really fucking up. Oh no, R. Kelly. I think we talked about you last week, but
Mm-hmm.
I saw that full ass interview. Gail,
A whole
honey,
mood.
I would have left. You have this temper tantrum by your fucking self. That
He
shit
was
was.
all jumping and yelling and crying, and she just sat there so composed.
What I liked was at the end, they definitely pointed out all these other celebrities that have done questionable shit in the past. They talked about Elvis. They talked about the one nigga that married his cousin. They talked about MJ. They talked about everybody. What
Oh,
I
I need to
didn't
go
like,
back and watch it.
yeah, it was at the very end. What I don't like, they put a picture of Chris Brown up, which I was like, well, I'm not saying like Chris Brown beat his girl. He didn't
Mm-hmm.
like fuck a underage girl like all
Right,
the other people. So
right.
I didn't like that they did that. But you know, I like that they added that. Also, gentlemen, Harvey Weinstein, whatever his name is,
Mm-hmm.
he has some additional additional counts of sexual assault that have been added to his already pending case.
Oh,
I just want to let y'all know this because, you know, for the past, this whole year, ever since the fucking R. Kelly story, all I've ever heard is, well, why isn't anybody talking about Harvey Weinstein? So I'm talking about him. That
right,
just happened last week. Get into it. Go look it up since you care about the victims so much.
right.
That's all I got for tea time.
Yeah, I didn't really have ain't shit been going on in the past
Nothing.
week. Um,
Did you hear about what Joe Budden said and how
yeah, um, yeah. He issued his apology, and yeah,
I think I'm becoming numb because
I am too.
every week y'all are crucifying somebody different.
Hmm.
And I am kind of at the point where I just kind of tune shit out. Like I saw it and I actually listened to the podcast today
I didn't. I haven't listened to it.
and I heard the comment, but I got out the car like right when they were about to have the whole discussion.
Mm.
And I mean, I don't know. I
I just feel like people can't say nothing. That's gonna. I still feel that way. Like I mean, people say stuff. Sometimes it's out of pocket. Sometimes it's joking. And sometimes it's in ignorance. But I don't know. Like I feel the same way. I feel like I'm numb. I'm just like, oh, that's what they said. Okay, keep scrolling. Like,
yeah. I mean, the kids shit that is gross. So I'm always going to be like passionate about that.
for sure.
But y'all be canceling people and uncanceling them, and bitches is back in Gucci and all this other. And it's just like I'm tired of
Hmm.
y'all fake ass outrage. I'm just sick of it. I
It
just
lasts like a good couple of weeks until nobody's talking about it no
if
more.
that
Right.
it don't need some of this shit don't even last for more than a week, and it's just like okay, guys, I you know
What are we mad about this week?
I can't. I'm done. And I
Mm.
don't want to be numb because I feel like there are real issues and real things to be passionate about. Just not none of this black Twitter shit. I
Yeah.
can't. Y'all can't have it. I'll retweet if I see some funny memes, but that's all I got for y'all
Right. Can't take y'all seriously.
at all.
I don't know. Should I ask you about any shows?
I am caught up on all the shows. Thank you.
Ooh.
Because you came for me last week.
Oh, I didn't come for you,
Yes, you
bro.
did. You was like, bitch, how we going to do a podcast if you don't even watch shit? I was like, okay. And then I watched the fucking reunion of Love and Hip Hop. And I was
Oh,
like,
no. I didn't watch it yet.
oh, I wasn't going to say anything. I was just going
Oh.
to say that
Wait a minute. It came on already?
yeah.
That wasn't on my DVR. That's interesting. Okay.
My whole thing was like, oh, is this what I missed?
Yeah.
I didn't miss shit.
It came on already for real?
Yeah, for real.
I need to go check my
Part
DVR.
2 is next week.
Well, damn. I need
And
to
then
go look
after
at my
that,
DVR.
it's Atlanta.
Oh, wow. So you watched the second part of Iyanla?
Yeah. Oh my God, I was crying at work, Jesus.
Okay, so listeners, we didn't really get to talk about it last episode.
Yeah, we didn't even
because
talk about the first part.
Yeah, because I wanted to let you watch because you said you had started watching the first one, and I was like, we'll just talk about it after part 2 come on. So just to sum it up, Iyanla Fixed My Life, because that is definitely our show. They had a 2-part episode. The first episode aired last week, and this one, Sunday I think it came on. I forgot what day, but basically it was called Raised by Monsters. And how can I sum this up? Basically, there was 5 siblings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 siblings, and the mother was strung out on drugs, and her
A
children.
crackhead, as Iyanla said. I was like, all right.
She said, I'm gonna put it plainly. Your mom's a crackhead. I
was like,
all right, Judge Mathis.
She's so extra.
Judge Mathis always calling somebody a crackhead too.
Yes, he do.
You a dope fiend, boy.
Bitch, shut the
I don't believe you because crackheads always lie. Yo, tell me Judge Mathis ain't funny as hell.
Why the hell do you sound just like him? Get your life.
Crackhead.
We're supposed to be serious.
I can't stop laughing.
They about to cut this shit off.
Okay. So anyway, I know y'all laughing too because Judge Mathis be extra. Him and Iyanla probably related.
Probably.
Dramatic. So anyway, I got tears in my eyes. Anyway, so this is definitely a serious topic.
And we're just laughing.
We laughing at Judge Mathis, not this. So she, the mother was addicted to drugs, and they took her children away, and all of her kids end up being put in foster care. And while they were in foster care, they were abused, mentally, physically, sexually. Like, it's really, really disturbing. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like, that first episode, like, I had tears in my eyes. It was like really, really sad. One of the kids, well, they're all adults now. They're not kids on the show, but like while they were children, one of the siblings, even to this day, the abuse affects him. Like, he has epilepsy. Like, he
Because
goes
they used to hit him with cast iron skillets
in his head and beat him with pots and stuff. And like the trauma and the physical abuse of it all, like, he's not 100% there. And like they would make them actually do sexual acts to each other in order to eat food. Like, literally, they would beat them if they asked for food, and then they were like, all right, well, you know what, you do X, Y, and Z to your sister, or you do this to your brother, and then you can eat. And like it was just like really, really crazy. And of course they're suffering from a lot of emotional and like psychological damage, and they were there at Iyanla trying to repair their relationship as siblings, because as you could imagine, that affects their relationship with each other. And then, honey, Iyanla had to come and bring on part 2 the mom. And, you know, they don't feel no kind of way. They just like, we don't have no mom. Like, who the fuck is she? Because of her. Like, basically, they're like, we were in this situation because of her. Like, she let us go. And this is what happened to us. Like, we were abused. Actually, one of the oldest sibling wasn't in foster care. Forgot about that. The oldest sibling, she was actually raised by the grandmother. So a lot of the siblings resented her because they felt like she had like this better life because she was being raised by her actual family.
But she was over there getting molested.
She was getting molested and all that stuff too. So she was actually going through stuff, and they didn't even know she was going through abuse. And it was just crazy. Like, it was just like really, really crazy. And then part 2, the mother, she didn't say a lot. Like, I don't know. And I don't know if it's because she was in shock of everything that she was hearing, because the mother didn't know, obviously, all of this stuff that was going on in the kids' lives when they were in foster care. And the kids at this point still ain't here for her. Like, the oldest son was like, nah, I don't want to go over there by her. And no, I'm definitely not giving her no hug. Like, nah, just because we had a conversation doesn't mean like we piecing it up. So,
Which I like that Iyanla was like, you know, she was a crackhead. She was a prostitute. So staying with her would have just been another form of dysfunction.
right.
And I agree with that. But my nig, when they were talking about their worst days, and the one dude was like, that day that all of us, they made all the kids perform oral sex on each
Yeah.
other.
That was
The
heartbreaking.
girl talks about how all of her brothers had to rape her for them to eat. She had to take that so that they could have real food.
Yeah.
Michael, the one that you're talking about who has epilepsy, like was like, for weeks they gave me one glass of water and one slice of bread. My G, I was at work in tears.
So that joint was so sad. And you can tell like how he deals with, like, even when his mother was there, he kind of like goes into the shell. He wasn't even breathing. His eyes was rolling back in the back and say, like, it's just fucked up how much that affect him. And like they say, he's like a really good artist and he's like really, really smart and creative. But like all that trauma and stuff is like his health is like super, super fucking bad.
I don't understand. I don't understand people. I don't understand humans. I don't understand how you do that. How can you even stomach? Why? What enjoyment do you get out of making children do this nasty ass shit for fucking food? Right. And then it makes me think about the foster system, because I don't hear a lot of good things about it, to be honest. Nope. And it's like,
and I don't understand, because they supposedly do checks, but obviously these checks is formalities.
Are some trash. Right. Yes. Yeah. I was so disturbed. I was disturbed the first episode, because I was like, I'm only like 2 minutes into this episode and they're talking about fucking their sister. Like, what is going on?
Right.
But then this second episode, just seeing the guy Michael, the way he just internalized everything, I couldn't deal with it, because it was. Can you imagine having to just live your life as normal? How do you tell somebody that? Like, I was thinking, like, if I'm meeting a guy, how do I tell him
like
that
this is how I grew
my
up?
brothers had to rape me so that we could eat? How do you do that? Who do you trust with that?
Right. It fucks you up your whole life. Like, it was rough.
When I think about all of the episodes of Iyanla, I'm just like, yo, I don't know what other races have been through, because I am not those other races. I'm only Black. Right. And I just feel like we have gone through a lot of fucking shit, a lot of fucking trauma, like, just a lot.
Yeah.
It's listening to like on Uncensored with Tammy, and hearing about how she was locked in some fucking warehouse
for
and
4
shit.
fucking days.
I'm
bruh.
just like, why?
She said, I just knew I was gonna die. And then it's crazy, like, you go through stuff and like you think back, and she just kind of laughed and was like, damn, I done been through some shit. It's crazy. Like, I feel like we are some resilient people. Like,
I had that moment when I, like 2 months ago, when I was talking to when I was in the hairdresser.
Oh, yeah.
And I started crying and shit. And I started talking about some shit. I'm like, damn. Like, how do people...
How do we get
here? Function.
Like, Mama, I made it, because the odds were against us. And Jesus. Look at us prospering. Yeah, if y'all haven't seen it, y'all should go check out the 2 parts or whatever. Like, it's really emotional. But y'all have been on the road this season. It ain't been one episode where I was like, I'll pass. Because a couple of seasons, especially the ones where she was bringing on the celebrities, I was like, all right. If y'all bring Keisha Cole's sister on here one more time. Y'all don't get Nefertiti up out of here and stop playing.
I didn't like that episode with Hazel E, because I was like, this shit fake as fuck, girl.
For sure. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
And is that the same episode that Benzino girl was on there? Or is that another one? Because I didn't like that episode either.
She was on an episode with Duchess from Black Ink, and she ended up leaving early. And then they had another girl from Bridezilla.
Yeah, I didn't like
I didn't really care for that episode either.
No. It seemed like a check
Yeah,
for them.
basically.
But yeah, this season, yeah, Iyanla done got back on it, beloved. She making them do their work, honey.
Iyanla is a Virgo, by the way.
I can
Sips tea.
tell.
All right.
Go ahead and sip your tea and don't stop for me. Whatever. I got bars. Anyway, you watch Real Housewives of Atlanta?
I did.
Okay. First of all, Candy's little sex dungeon production seems lit as fuck, and I definitely would have went.
She's
That's right.
on tour. She'll
Dog.
be in DC in
When?
May.
In May?
In April or May. I saw I'm going to tag you and I saw
Dog,
it
let's
today.
go. You don't have to dress up to go, do you? Because all of them seem like, even the participants seem like they was dressed up.
Yeah, everybody did seem to be dressed up.
Like in the crowd and everything. Like,
yeah, you got to get dressed up. Why wouldn't you get dressed up?
because I need to lose some more weight. I got
Me
till
too,
May.
but somebody loves it. So, and all them girls in there was not Cynthia Bailey size.
They definitely was nuts. I was looking in the crowd like, oh.
People are just free.
I'm about to
We
get
the
a
only ones that's not.
about to get a tight corset.
Oh yeah. Have you put your foot on my back to tie that bitch up?
I'm like, breathe in. You'll breathe out when we get home.
Yeah, she's actually taking it on tour. She said on the show she wanted to, and I was like, when I saw it, I was like, knowing her ass is going to have it on tour. And sure enough, today I go on Instagram and one of my friends was like, yeah, she's going to be here. Da, 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 da. So I was like, okay.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it was lit. Like, because it wasn't just like, all right, we about to be learning about different sexual positions. Like, it was a party. Like, it seemed like lit. So that's what
I can't stand Candy's voice by herself though, so she's gonna be doing a lot of singing. I think I'm gonna have to pass. Like her singing with Escape,
was
I can
good,
do.
but just her voice alone. I mean, she might have some Shamari there.
Okay, girl.
I just cannot even take the fact that her and she is just defaming my man Ronnie out here. Like, they got a singing group together, and I just can't take it serious. Y'all good separate. Y'all don't need to be. Stick with y'all selves and y'all groups. And Ronnie wasn't even the strongest singer on New Edition. So like,
oh no. And you could tell because he's still not the strongest singer when they sing together.
Look, when that little performance they had, I was like, look,
with
you
the
need
little
to
neck
stay
head bounce
right in the back with Mike. Okay.
I can't figure Shamari out. Like, I don't.
Like, as far as what?
Like her personality. Like,
she's extra as all hell, but she drunk most of the time.
She just doesn't do it for me. I don't know.
Even in the beginning, like the first episode of this season when she was on it, I was like, she's so extra. I feel like she's doing too much to be like, hey, look at me, I'm on the show and I'm important. Like, I don't want to play the background. But then over time, it seemed like she was, I don't want to say chilling, but she had calmed down more. But she is like every episode, she's wild doing something. Like whether she's grabbing people in the vaginas or grabbing titties or getting too drunk.
I was like, no, baby, you can't just grab people's vaginas.
I guess she says since she likes them both ways, she can do what she pleases.
Someone said in the comments that she's really gay, and then when she gets drunk, it just comes out.
Nope.
And I was like,
I mean, when she admitted when she was on a break with Ronnie that like she was in a relationship with a female.
With a woman. I know. So
I mean, that ain't too far off.
Maybe.
Child, all I know is if I was Eva and she threw up on my shoes, I would have kicked her in her forehead. That is so nice. You see her ass about to throw up in the sink when the girl threw up on her. I would have been too done. Too damn done. Oh yeah, I think that's it with shows. I didn't watch the official first episode of Married to Medicine LA came on, but I ain't watched it yet. And I know you're not interested.
I didn't even know it came on. It didn't come up on my DVR, so Jesus didn't want that to happen.
No, because you have to set it up separately. You have regular Married to Medicine on your DVR.
Oh, they should set it up as
so like it just come up as Married to Medicine.
Yeah, that's the only way you're gonna get me to watch it.
I know that's right.
Anywho, so let me tell you about last week.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so well, y'all don't know this, but Dice and I, we joke about how like I'm half like Janae Aiko and then half like Cardi B.
Mm-hmm.
So I think my earthy hoe is coming out a lot more because I had I wanted to get crystals or whatever. So I
Mm-hmm.
started looking up different crystals and what they mean and how you can use them like in meditation and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to order crystals from this one store that my friend Lala buys them from.
Mm-hmm.
But their online ordering thing was like messed up and it just would not let me order. So I was like, okay, I'm going to just Google some places around here. So I looked up on Yelp actually, and I found a review for this one spot near my house.
Mm-hmm.
And I went in there and I'm like, oh, I want to get crystals. Da, 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 da. So while I was in there, I was like, I want to get a reading too, since
Oh.
they do readings.
Like palm readings or what kind of reading? Oh, you like energy reading?
Yeah.
No, I'm not
Yeah.
trying to be funny. Like I really don't know.
No, I'm going to explain to you
Oh,
how
okay.
it went.
Okay.
So I don't know what, it's definitely not a palm reading, and I don't know if maybe it's an energy reading. Let me tell you how it went.
Okay.
So I buy the crystals. We go in the back. The lady tells me that she has spirit guides that will speak to her to tell her things. And so, or if it's not the spirit guide, her personal spirit guides, that maybe like someone from the person she's doing the reading for,
Mm-hmm.
someone from their life or their personal spirit guide or something like that will come and talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna be honest, I didn't believe that bitch because I'm like, girl, okay, like,
Sounds good.
right. So she was like, don't be alarmed if I say stuff like they or she or he or stuff like that. So I'm like, okay, cool. So she starts off and she's asking me questions about my relationship with my husband. And I'm like, that's an easy guess. For number one, I have on my ring. And secondly,
Mm-hmm.
like, who doesn't have some issues in their marriage? So I
Right.
didn't even take that shit as like, oh, this bitch knows. So,
Right.
whatever. She did bring up my daughter, and I had not mentioned me having kids, let alone me having a
A
daughter.
daughter specifically. Right.
Right. So at this point, I was like, okay. So then she goes, someone is here. And I'm like,
Oh, I would have got you goosebumps. I'd have like, no, I gotta go. Give me my crystals. I'm going. You tell them I said, be blessed.
so she was like, someone is here. And she started looking at the wall that was right behind me.
No, no, no,
So
no.
I'm like, okay. Oh, but just so you know, like in the beginning, she said she doesn't deal with dark energies. She's only light. So,
I don't. You just don't know. The dark
and
might be strong. You don't
that
know.
that is true. So, she said it was someone like a mother figure. So my
Mm.
first thought was my father's ex-wife,
Yeah, that's what I was just thinking.
who, right, who I call mommy. She
Mm-hmm.
passed away in 2017. That was my very first thought. I was like, mommy? She's like, no, this is a grandmother energy. Okay. So then my thought goes to my father's mother because, that's
Mm-hmm.
who I was always around.
Mm-hmm.
This lady says, Sandra.
Who?
Her mom, Sandra, is my mother's mother. She passed away when I was hella young,
Oh
and
wow.
my mother and her had an estranged relationship. So I didn't even really hang around her like that.
Right.
So she said her name.
So she actually said a name.
She said the age
Oh
that
my
she
god.
died.
Oh, bad.
And then my grandma Sandra was apparently telling her things about me, like, I'm so happy that you and your mom had that conversation. Again, I did
You
not
didn't
talk to
tell
this lady about
nothing.
this. She's like, I'm so
Who I get
the
goosebumps?
the lady was like, your grandmother is so happy that y'all had that conversation because the relationships between the women in your family have been broken, and you're the one that's going to be able to mend it. And it just was going, girl, I lost it. I started crying. It was a hot
Oh
mess.
gosh.
So that support group that I'm going to,
Mm-hmm.
she mentioned that, and at that point I was no good.
Oh my goodness.
And my grandmother told me through this lady to forgive myself, and I was I just was no fucking good
I could imagine.
because I told myself, I was like, this is such a big part of like what I'm going through right now, that if
Mm-hmm.
this lady doesn't mention this, like, I'm going to think she's full of shit. And
Right.
sure enough, that bitch brought it up.
Mm.
And I'll tell you like the really freaky part off the podcast, but I was really shaken up that day. Like, I was just a mess. I was a hot ass mess because I could not believe, like, out of everybody, I would have never, if you're into that type of thing, if you believe it, I would never
Mm-hmm.
think my grandma Sandra, because I haven't seen her since I was like 8. She died when I
Right.
was 8
Right.
or 10 or something. I don't know. But I had called my mom to tell her, because, my mom and I just started talking again.
Mm-hmm.
And so my mom was like, one of the things that the lady said was that my grandma Sandra is with me all the time. And I was like,
Mm.
oh. And she was like, yeah, she tried to communicate with you, but she knows that you're not with that shit. And so you be tuning that shit out. And I was like, yeah, I'm not, like, it's cool. She want to be there and kind of like guide me or whatever. But like, I'm not about to be talking to no spirits. Like,
Dog,
that's just
you
not
got
where I'm at on
right.
my earthy host shit. I'm not
Right.
there. So she was like, she goes to your mom while she's asleep, because she knows that your mom won't receive her while she's awake, but she goes to her while she's asleep to soften her. So I told my mom that, and she was like jokingly like, well, tell Grandma Sandra to soften my bladder, because I'm tired of waking up in the middle of the night. This is that and the third. Like,
Oh
now that
no.
I've gotten older, I got to pee 2 times a night and I just want to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
So we laughed, get off the phone. The next day she calls me and she's like, yeah, so I didn't pee last night.
Oh,
I swear to God.
I would have been like, all right, goodbye. Goodbye.
So my parents, I told them both, they did, and my husband. All these people, they grew up in super Christian homes, so they did
Right.
not. The first thing was when I told
Why
them,
did you go?
yeah, like, what the fuck are you into? So I'm like, I'm on my spiritual journey. I'm doing things my way, kind of thing. And
Mm-hmm.
so, but when I started telling them, like, baby, she started saying names and dates and things that I did not share. I didn't set up an appointment, so she couldn't Google my name.
Right.
Like, no, I legit walked in to get some crystals and walked out a hot ass emotional wreck of a mess.
Wow.
The end of my story.
I literally got goosebumps. That's crazy as heck.
Yeah.
Whew. I guess that's a good thing though.
It is one of the things that she said, the thing that I wanted to talk about that's in reference to my support group. Heavy, heavy. But
Mm,
I think it was good.
that's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll chat offline. It ain't
Yeah.
for y'all listeners.
No, it ain't.
Let's see. I guess we don't got no team. Got that. I guess was that your good bad release?
No.
Oh, okay. Well then go ahead and flow on into that.
My bad that so I realized today, because I went to my support group today,
Mm-hmm.
and this is no knock to my mom, should she ever hear this, or someone that knows her hear this, but I feel like I'm a better mother than her. And I'm not saying that to shit on her motherhood. I feel like if you are a parent, you should want to do things better than your parents, because we are
Right.
human and we are flawed. But
And you could learn from mistakes.
exactly. And so the facilitator of the support group was talking about how, like, when her mother was upset, the house felt it, and they would feel it until their mother chose to change the direction of the energy in the home. And it made me think
Mm-hmm.
about my mom and how, when she would get upset, she would not speak to me. Like,
Mm,
for weeks, wouldn't speak to me.
wow.
So today I got so frustrated with my daughter because she's not taking things as serious as she should be as far as school. Like, she only has 2 jobs, and that is to take care of her.
Mm,
That's it. You know what I mean? So all this extra shit that she wants to do or she's involved in, I don't care about those things. These are the things that I care about. And I just got so frustrated, and I was yelling at her. Like, I was on the phone yelling to the point where my throat was hurting. And I sat in the car and I calmed down and I called her back, and I was like, listen, I am still very disappointed and I still am very angry. But at the end of the day, I don't want you to take my yelling and my anger as like I don't love you, because I definitely do. Like,
mm-hmm.
no, there's nothing that's going to change that.
All right.
So don't take this as, feeling some kind of way. And it just made me think about what the facilitator has said, because I could have just been mad, and then who knows what that would have done to my daughter,
Mm-hmm.
because when I say I was yelling,
Going in.
I was going in. So it just made me think like she may look at me like I'm batshit crazy because one minute I'm fucking screaming and yelling, and the next minute I'm saying I love her. But I know that for me, it would have been better if I was her. You know, it
To
would have
not
been
let it
better.
linger.
Yes, for
Right.
me, it would have been better. So I'm trying to give myself more grace. Because that was one of the things that apparently Grandma Sandra says that I need to do. I need to not be so hard on myself and just realize that I am doing a lot better than the generations before me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there was another, there was something else that I realized, and I have written it down, but of course that paper is somewhere else right now. But yeah, I'm not perfect. Um, I'm just trying to acknowledge when I do good things too, as opposed to always
Just
just
point out the
knowing.
bad that you do.
Right. And one of the things, that's what it is. One of the things that I'm realizing in the support group is that I don't forgive myself when I make like really bad choices or really like mistakes or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to like forgive myself, like for real, and not in my Shay way, because my Shay way is just like, oh, that shit don't bother me, da 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 da. Yeah, I act like shit don't bother me and keep it moving, but a lot of stuff actually does if I
It's
sit
still
back and think
staying
about
with you.
it. Yeah, so those are the things I guess I want to release and just do better with, and I'm trying to have fun sometime soon because I just feel like I've been on some emotional heavy ass shit and I'm ready for another grits and biscuits or
Yeah,
some like,
funny. I mean, it's about to start getting warm. You know what we do
yeah,
when it get warm? Bar crawls.
I need some type of turn up energy because I feel like I've been for real on some Janae, Erica, incense type shit, and who got time? I just want to do ratchet shit with my friends.
But all of this earthly stuff is healing you and making you become whole. So
And
I'm
let's
fucking here for it.
healing is hard. I
It
don't
is.
it's for real hard. Like if you are really working on yourself and you have to like unearth shit about you and hold yourself accountable for things while also trying to forgive yourself for those things that you bury deep down. Like my nigga, it's a
Right.
fucking lot. I just really want to do ratchet shit with my friends and be carefree.
But that's what you've been doing all this time and numbing the pain. Now you're being forced
ma'am,
to confront
ma'am,
it.
Iyanla,
I mean, that's my
Iyanla.
little psychology. I'm using my college degree.
All right, good bad. Let's go.
So for me, mine is like kind of sensitive and, I guess tapping into my little Jenny.
Oh, we're having a light skin
I
episode.
know. Look, colorism.
Shut your ass up.
So mine is all rolled into one good, bad, and release. So I think I had like mentioned it or whatever to you, but not the whole story. So I've mentioned it on the podcast, I think a million times. Like my daughter, she's 6 and she's into all-star cheerleading. So, they have practices and then they have tumbling and all that stuff like that. So one of the skills that she's been trying to work on since not last, but the summer of 2018 is trying to do a back handspring. And so, she knows how to do other things, but like the back handspring, she was just like, she didn't know how to do it. Like she was scared. And, the tumbling coaches would keep on like, you got to let go. You just got to just jump. And she's like, she was scared. And, also with some of her stunting classes and being a flyer, meaning the person who's like, they throw up in the air or is at the top of like different pyramids and stunts. She was kind of nervous about doing that. And she wasn't really confident and not really, just doing what she needs to do to be a really good flyer. But over the summer, after some of the classes, like she kind of let go of that fear. And then this season, she's been like a really, really good flyer and been doing a good job. She's been confident and all that good stuff. And then this weekend at her tumbling class, I was talking to another mom and I was like kind of near where she was working with the coach. And she was like, Mommy, look, I'm not scared anymore. And I was like, what? Like, I'm just thinking my daughter being dramatic because she's definitely dramatic. So I'm just like, what? What are you talking about? And she just like does the freaking back handspring. And then like the coach gave her a high five and she was like, look, I'm gonna do it again. And like literally proceeded to, I mean, a couple times, like she didn't get it perfect, but like, you know, like way better than what she's been doing. And
Right.
I don't know, like I felt like a mommy moment. Like I literally, if I wasn't talking to a mom, I literally probably went in the back and shed a tear because like I felt like a wave of emotion because for some reason I kind of, being a Leo, made it about myself. And I was just like, yo, in life, I know. I just was like, yo, in life, like I feel like I am operating in fear a lot of times and I don't let go. Like I overthink a lot of stuff. Like, and I just need to be like my daughter and just be like, you know what, I'm not scared anymore. Whether it's dealing with relationships, if it's things like businesses and whatever it is, like I just want to in 2019 just let go of my fear and be like my daughter and jump and fly and all that sexiness. And I'm just excited because my daughter's so lit.
Don't try to thug it out at the end.
I
All that
did. Was that?
sexiness.
I mean, it was sexy,
Tap
but
into your emotions. Say what you really feel.
I just feel like all the butterflies and clouds have aligned. And I don't know, like I just really had a really good feeling, like seeing her step, like being there to witness her stepping out of her fear and just being like, fuck it, like I'm gonna go for it. I'm not scared anymore. And the fact that she like announced it, like, hey mommy, I'm not scared anymore, and like just went for it. Like, I don't know, I feel like it was like really symbolic, like, hey mommy, this is what the fuck you need to be doing. So it
You
was
know
just
what
a really lit moment. What?
I think that Dice doesn't use the same words as I, but she too is on a self journey.
I really think I am.
Yes, because she's dabbling in other things that we won't speak about in the podcast. But
See.
yes, she too is on a journey
I am
of self
tapping into
discovery.
my inner Dice.
Yes, I'm the only one that'll come on here and be like, yes, in therapy, on my support group with my crystals. But you too are in your self discovery bag.
I'm in this
Okay,
bitch. That's what
all
I
right.
call it, in this bitch.
Always trying to make that shit sound harder than what it is. Pause.
It's the same thing.
Speaking of pause, this is
Uh-oh.
gonna be real childish, y'all. So I was in my support group, and my support group is supposed to be like real serious. People be in there crying and carrying on.
Mm-hmm.
And they used to have chocolate on the tables,
Mm-hmm.
but somebody brought in fruity candies because I don't like chocolate. They brought in
So accommodating.
they brought in Jolly Ranchers, the bag.
Mm-hmm.
The bag, their slogan, Jolly Rancher slogan is keep sucking. And
Really?
in
That's their
the middle
slogan?
on the bag, I swear to God, it said keep sucking. And I, like a fucking kid, started giggling like in the middle of somebody like talking. And I felt like trash, but it was just like, bitch, grow up.
Look, if I was there, I would have been like, ooh.
And that's really what, it wasn't even the words that made me laugh. It was like, dog, I wonder if I could sneak a picture of this joint and send it to the group chat. But then I knew if I sent it, then y'all would have been lighting my phone
We
up
would
in
have
the
been
middle.
going back and forth like, oh, you over there keep sucking.
And that's the end of the podcast because we just definitely went from somber and self-discovery to keep sucking. That's the kind of podcast this is.
That's our personality.
Fuck out of here with them emotions.
Right. This is us in real life. You gonna get emotions for 5 seconds. Like, all right, fuck that shit. Look.
Keep sucking, nigga.
Keep sucking. At the end of the day, keep sucking. All right, y'all. We thank y'all for tuning in. We always we gotta hurry up then because Shay gotta pee. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. Make sure y'all go ahead and follow, like, subscribe. We on Instagram and Twitter at the Chatty Pattys. We got a little website that I need y'all to go ahead and go to, www.thechattypattys.com. We literally have links to everywhere we are streaming, as well as embedded episodes, so you can hear us any kind of way that you want to hear us, and we will talk to you guys.
Wait. Shout out to Beef Alert, BEEFALERT on Instagram. He advertised us basically. So shout out to him. Go on over there, check that out. send us an email. You know, if you want to join in on the discussion, we hear people say all the time that when they're listening to us, they want to jump in the middle of the conversation.
Well, then hit us
So,
up.
right.
You know what? I'm about to make a post tomorrow, and y'all can either hit us up in our DMs. You can comment on the post. If y'all have questions for us, like she said, email us, or you can hit us up on our social media, and we'll bring up y'all questions and answer y'all questions so y'all can be a part of the
Yes,
conversation.
yes.
All right. So thanks for tuning in, and we will talk to you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.